Hi, I'm Jennifer Terri. I make Philippine travel updates. In this video, we always talk about things that is wrong in the Philippines and how they are dealing with this COVID-19 pandemic, especially with this international travel. In this video, I want to give you guys a different perspective to actually look at the bigger picture and where is the Philippines at. I know a lot of you are living in North America, Middle East countries, Europe. Like, you guys probably feel like you're living with COVID. Some of you, most of you are already not wearing masks. You're free to do whatever you want like before. And it's not exactly the same here. There's still a lot of restrictions, but I want to give you some hope. I feel like we don't talk about this as much, but the Philippines is moving forward and there is light at the end of the tunnel. Now, soon, foreign tourists would be allowed. Soon, quarantine will be removed for all travelers, not just green countries. So there are signs of reopening and living with COVID here, just like in many other countries. First, the Philippines is already discussing about reopening to foreign tourists. Phuket sandbox style. The Philippines wants to copy Thailand's style in which fully vaccinated travelers can come in, stay in one place for a few days, and then they can go in other areas in the country. In fact, we talked about in our update the other day about how Lapu-Lapu City in Mactan Island is open to accepting foreign tourists once they achieve their 70% target of vaccinations. And in fact, Lapu-Lapu City is now at 56.3%. And the Philippine government is very strong on achieving that 70% by the end of this year. In fact, the president has just tonight, given an order to local government officials to take into account which of their constituents are unvaccinated.
Marami na tayong supply ng bakuna sa awa ng Diyos. I urge LGUs to come up with a more systematic and efficient way of finding out who among your constituents have not yet vaccinated. Please do everything to convince them to get vaccinated.
So the Philippine government wants to get the job done. So that 70%, I think, is highly likely to be achieved by the end of this year for many major areas or destinations in the country. Second, we ease the quarantine protocols for international travelers. And they're not stopping with just green countries. Recently, different government agencies, Philippine Airlines, are pushing for a pilot test to include travelers from North America. And it's not just from North America. They will start for North America since a lot of Filipinos are there. The market for the airlines is focused in North America. But they are actually looking at expanding it to other countries as well. So it's not just North America. They're looking at for a no quarantine required arrival. Next is the Philippine cases is going down. Yeah, we went from 16,000 cases a day to now 5,000, 3,000. Last October, middle of August, we went from 29.5% of positivity rate. Now, where are we? Less than 10%. This rate was 7 months ago, seen 7 months ago. In just 2 months, we managed to fight the Delta surge in the country. And the downtrend of COVID cases is not just in Manila or National Capital Region, but throughout the country, throughout the regions in the Philippines. And speaking of vaccines, our vaccination rate is increasing. Our supply of vaccines is steady. More than 25 million are fully vaccinated, while 30 million received their first dose. In National Capital Region, the vaccination rate is, wow, they have achieved 95% of the adult population. So we actually have more than 39 million doses of vaccines available at our own disposal. Yes, so even if mathematically we can administer 2 million doses per day and still have enough supply for almost 3 weeks. Yes, we have a lot of vaccine supply. So, and it's not stopping there. You might say, oh, but a lot of Filipinos don't want to get vaccinated, Jennifer. Well, that may change because of vaccine mandates. It's already been announced by the IATF and it's already happening. allowing companies right not to hire unvaccinated applicants, or you cannot fire an existing unvaccinated employee, but you can require them for an RT-PCR test for unvaccinated existing employees at their own expense. And this is what's happening in my auntie's workplace. You don't want to get vaccinated, then you need to get tested every month. You need to show it to the company, and otherwise you can't work. See, and an ordinary Filipino would cannot or would not spend. How much is an RT-PCR test? 1,500, 2,000, 3,000. They won't spend that money for a test, and so a lot of people will be forced to get vaccinated, even if they want to. Unfortunately, and very sad, vaccine misconceptions and hoax stories, conspiracy stories is very rampant here, especially in the province. Like the other day, my uncle who was vaccinated came across a friend who is, so against vaccines. When he told his friends that he's vaccinated, he made a sign of a cross. Anyways, but yeah, vaccine hesitancy is being dealt. The Philippines is resuming economic activities. In fact, the alert system, which is a far more loose quarantine system, is now being adopted in other regions, not just in Manila. And domestic tourism reopening, they're easing the protocols and the requirements. In fact, just earlier today, Cebu City announced that they will allow fully vaccinated domestic travelers to enter Cebu City without a negative test result. And Bohol followed today. Fully vaccinated travelers who wish to enter the province of Bohol may present their vaccination certificate, and no need to apply or to get an RT-PCR negative test result. Just your vaccine certificate or card is enough. How about Boracay? Boracay will soon achieve their 100% vaccination rate for their target population. Right now, they are at 62.78%. And according to their mayor, as soon as they reach the target for the adult population, they will waive the negative RT-PCR test requirement. And the Philippines is already looking at going back to face-to-face classes. There are now pilot face-to-face classes being done throughout the countries. So, with all these variables, easing the restrictions on quarantine for international travelers, COVID cases going down, steady supply of vaccines, the Philippine government working with private sectors to encourage people to get vaccinated, it won't be long till we get back to our feet. So there is light at the end of the tunnel here. We're moving forward. And a lot of Filipinos have their own theories that election will end the pandemic. Maybe. And maybe they will work harder. I don't know, but I hope they're right. I hope so. And also we've seen that our neighboring countries, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, they're considering a free opening, and I think that puts pressure on the Department of Tourism in the country. So what do you guys think? If you're asking me, Jennifer, when would we expect a zero quarantine? December is very optimistic guess, but probably early next year, first quarter of next year. If nothing too crazy comes up again, like something like Delta plus plus plus, whatever.